joined with my friend Bill Seiwert, and Bill owns a landscaping company, or landscape design company rather. That he'll tell us about this, and want Bill give you an opportunity for you to introduce yourself to us and tell us a little bit about your business. So, Bill, who are you?
Hi, I'm Bill Seiwert with Outdoor Lifestyles Landscape.
All right, and so what is your business exactly? So, Outdoor Lifestyles Landscape. What does that mean? What do you do?
We do outdoor landscape design and construction, primarily for residential clients, doing all types of exterior construction projects, all custom built, patios, walkways, retaining walls, water features, putting greens, plantings of all kinds, just trying to make everybody's outdoor living a lot nicer.
Okay. All right. And how did you decide to start your business? What got you, like, take us back to well, I guess, when did you start your business?
This current business I started in 2014, but I got into the landscape industry with my first business, 1983.
Okay, 1983, and okay, so I was like not very old at that point. I was around now. All right, so 1983. So what got you into business? What made you decide to start a business?
I started a lawn mowing company at the age of 13, and started mowing neighbors, and then slowly added on different projects and got into the construction aspect of it in the 90s, and decided that that's more the realm that I wanted to do.
All right, I have to let you know, you make me feel more comfortable now that I know you started at 13 rather than 27. Since it was 1983. So so I mean, take me back. Did you, at the age of 13, did you have any idea that you were actually starting a business, or what did that look like?
Oh yeah, I actually formed a business. I got a business license and everything, and business banking account, insurance. I charged my clients monthly and collected the receipts and did everything. And by the time I was a senior in high school, I had 2 crews, and I'll never forget my senior year in high school. I made $35,000 that year. I thought that was pretty good. So,
wow. I know some guys that did that in senior year of high school, but they weren't, mowing grass.
Yeah, well, it was a different type of grass, maybe.
So did you have a vision for your business at the time, or I mean, you knew you were in business? It sounds like, I mean, that's phenomenal to do that at such a young age. But did you see like where you may be at your today, for example, or along the pathway?
I think my vision has morphed over the years, and a lot of it has to do with life, and how your responsibilities in life kind of pull you in different directions in your business. When I was in my 20s, my business was my primary focus, and that's all I cared about. And I just wanted to grow it, make it bigger. And then kids came along, and then you start to think about other aspects in life and things that are more important than just focusing on work 100%. And so the goals for my business have changed drastically over the last 35 years or so. Sure.
So it's just like the natural evolution of life is, oftentimes businesses can, have their own lives of their own, same as you and I are people.
Absolutely.
So do you remember your first sale, just out of curiosity?
My first construction project, I do remember that. That was 1985. Okay. And we put in a garden for a client and built some terrace retaining walls and stuff like that. And I would hate to look at it today, because I don't think my construction skills were quite what they are now. And I'm grateful for the opportunity from that client, but I don't know that I want to put my name on that work today. So.
Gotcha. So yeah, you I don't know if you blanked out for me there. I don't know if we were on live there or not, but tell me, Bill, so what would you let's fast forward to your business today. So today, who is an ideal customer for you? Who's an ideal client for you?
An ideal client for me is somebody who's looking to do some sort of improvement in their backyard.
Can you hear me, Bill?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I was asking who's your ideal client. I don't know if you answered that or not.
Yeah, my ideal client is usually a homeowner who's looking to improve their yard, have a different look or feel to it, want to use it in a different way than they're currently using it, or if they have a problem like a drainage issue or something like that, that they're trying to mitigate the problem in a unique way.
Got it. Got it. And how do you find that client?
Lots of different ways. Most of my work comes from referrals from either past clients or from business partners. BNI is a huge part of my business, and silent auctions is probably the second largest portion of my business. So it really does pay well to do that because I'm connecting with clients who actually want to do work. As opposed to like advertising on shopping carts just doesn't work in my business because not too many people are looking for landscapers while they're pushing their cart through the grocery store.
Gotcha. Gotcha. We'll save that for another business, I guess. All right.
Yes.
So what are your responsibilities, your day-to-day responsibilities? Tell me, like, what does an average day look like in your life, in the life of Bill Seiwert, business owner?
Well, generally, it consists of meeting with clients. We typically, if I have an ongoing job, I meet with a client almost every day to monitor the progress of the job, make sure that everything's going to the expectations, answer any questions they may have, be on site for whenever there is a problem, if possible, communicate with the crews to make sure they're installing the work correctly. If it's a new client, I'm typically meeting with them, drawing up proposals, designs, and things like that, and coming up with, solutions to whatever issues they may have. I also handle ordering all of the materials for our jobs and coordinating all the deliveries and making sure everything is on time and in time so that we can make sure that our crews can stay productive on the job sites, and just generally keeping the business flowing. I mean, I am the accountant, the scheduler, the designer, bookkeeper, everything for my business. So I do a lot of things.
Got it. Got it. And so would you say that, I mean, you have an enormous and extraordinary amount of, experience. If you could say that there was one thing that you've learned, like one nugget, one lesson that you've learned through your experience that you could share with us, what would that be?
Control your expenses. And that would be the same in any business. Because I've owned several businesses over the years, and I've noticed that I've consulted with a lot of other companies to help them grow their businesses. And the number one reason why people go out of business is because they spend too much. And it's the old adage, like, if I gave you a $10 allowance every week and you go off and spend $11 every week, you're going to be broke. So you have to look at your business sales as your allowance, and you have to adjust your expenses to meet your income. Unfortunately, with business, it's not like working at a job where you get a paycheck every week and you know what your income is. So you have to constantly adjust your expenses to your income, and that is the hardest thing for anybody to learn in business, because you could have a really good month, you make a lot of money, and then you spend like crazy, and then the next month you continue to spend like crazy and you don't have a lot of money, and it makes it real difficult to stay in business that way.
Yeah, and you think that you're a genius because you had a great month, and then and then next month comes.
Yeah. When you have a great decade, you're a good genius.
There you go. There you go. A decade or two.
Yeah.
So, has there been anything looking back over your 30-odd years of business ownership? Is there anything that you can look back that you'd say was unexpected throughout the journey? Something that really you weren't expecting that popped up?
Lots of things are unexpected. I think I come across unexpected things all the time. The hardest, I guess, for me is clients who don't appreciate the work that you do, and as such, they tend to be difficult clients to work with. And that's something that it probably took me a decade or two to learn and to really apply to my business, that there are certain clients that you just don't want to work for. And it's hard to identify them on the first meeting or even the second or the third. And I mean, sometimes I even get through the entire project before I realize this is a client I didn't want to work for, but here I am. So that is a hard thing to do, because you have to try to read people and try to say, is this going to be a good fit for me? Because building a custom project in a client's house is like a mini marriage, and you just got to kind of work with each other and make sure you do it right and make sure that they get what they want in the end. And sometimes that can be difficult.
Well, so have you ever fired a client?
Many times.
It's okay. All right.
And most of the times the firing occurs in the initial meeting. And if like, I mean, I do a fair amount of call screening sometimes with my new clients, as they call me, and I try to qualify them. And I had this one guy call me, and he said, I want you to come by my house and give me an estimate. I said, okay, well, let's set up a time and we can do a consultation. And he says, well, I'll just give you the address and you take a look at it and give me a price. I said, no, I don't work that way. I need the face-to-face so we can understand what's going on and get to the meat of the project. And he said, well, none of the other guys wanted to do a face-to-face. And I said, well, just curious, how many other guys are there? And he said, you'll be number 27. I said, no, I won't. I hung up on it right there. It's like, no, thank you. I mean, that's a client right off the bat. I can tell I want no part of that, and if he hasn't learned what he needed to know in 26 people, he's not going to learn anything new on number 27.
Yeah.
And 30 years ago, I would have been that guy saying, oh, I can prove him wrong. I can show him something and I can win this client over where the other 26 didn't, and then I'd have a mess on my hands. So that's one of those things that you learn over time with maturity in business, that there's certain ones that you just got to say no thank you and move on and not worry about it. Don't lose sleep over it.
Yeah, another thing that you didn't point out there, Bill, but that I recognize when you're sharing that story with me, is the fact that you really were determined to meet with the gentleman, even let's say it wasn't 26 other people, to be able to probe and to build rapport and connection and truly deeply understand what it was that your client wanted to do, rather than just saying, hey, I'll stop by. And that in of itself, I think, separates you from your competition and is something that I'm sure you've learned that through the years as well.
Well, I've done a lot of sales training, and I do understand that the sales process is there for a reason. It's there to connect with the clients, to manage their expectations, to be clear and communicate everything that's happening throughout the sales process so that they understand what you're doing. If you called me over to your house and said, Bill, put in a patio, and I say, okay, I put in a patio.
Got it.
You come in and you say, well, that's not the patio I wanted. Well, that didn't do me or you any good. And so if I don't have that rapport from the very beginning and have that ability to communicate effectively through the whole process, we're going to end up with two unhappy people at the end of the process.
Yeah. Maybe you want to get hardscape, landscape, whatever the case may be. You can get in touch with Bill Seiwert. I know that he has a website, and I will go ahead and post it on the blog here on the Facebook Live. So thank you for joining us, and take care. Thanks.